a new Saiyan Empire forms. In his search for Saiyan warriors, Vegeta is forced to land on an inhospitable planet due to an object that has caused some damage to his ship. Upon arriving on that planet, he finds a Saiyan space capsule, and they begin to search for any more survivors of their race when he feels a very strong energy. His scouter detects immense fighting power. He feels a frightening power of struggle. He decides to go after it to find out what it was about. The king calls Raditz and Nappa. The three of them go after the mysterious force. Arriving there, they're faced with a Saiyan, lost in that broken world. Vegeta says, "Who are you, Worm?" "My name is Broly," answers the Saiyan, and then asks, "And who are you?" "How dare you address the king directly? Have more respect or I'll kill you," says Raditz. "Calm down, Raditz. And only an insignificant insect speaks to the king." Broly asks, "King? What king?" Vegeta responds, "The king of the most powerful race in the universe." Seeing that Broly's powers were amazing, Vegeta says, "From now on, you will be part of my army." Broly ignores him and remains silent. Raditz screams, "How dare you, insolent worm!" Vegeta asks Raditz to stay calm and continues to say, "You couldn't stand to face me." Hey, how's it going? Just here to remind you to click the like button, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and stay well inside our entire universe of Dragon Ball. Let's go back to the point. "His powers are much greater than yours or any other Saiyan warrior. I will face him." Vegeta attacks Broly with several blows at incredible speed, which seems to have no effect. Broly starts to attack back and Vegeta couldn't defend himself. Vegeta realizes he didn't stand a chance against Broly, that starts hitting him with several attacks. Nappa and Raditz attack Broly in order to protect the king. Broly defends himself from several blows that are thrown at him and retaliates with several more blows. The three warriors are impressed by Broly's violence and brute strength. Vegeta wonders, how could such an insignificant low-class insect possess a power greater than mine? Vegeta concentrates all his ki to attack him. Broly realizes what the king is doing and takes the chance and uses his speed and fires at the king, giving a blow that hits his stomach, causing Vegeta to spit blood. "You goddamn cockroach," says Vegeta. "You worm! I'm going to finish you off!" Vegeta attacks several times and starts screaming, "I am the king! Bow before me!" "Broly, you don't understand anything!" Meanwhile, on another planet in the galaxy, the god of destruction decides to ally with the Z-Warriors. Goku, Piccolo, and the others decide to accept that being's help and decide to train to become stronger. But the planet where they are is small, and with the fight they had previously, they already destroyed part of it. So Piccolo suggests to them that they should go to his home planet. Bulma and Day-Day agrees. So Bulma adjusts course and everyone goes to Namek. Planet Namek was relatively similar to planet Earth, the difference being that on Namek the water was clean, the air was clean, and the cities were clean, not polluted like Earth's. The journey to Piccolo's home planet begins. Meanwhile, the planet between Saiyans continues. Vegeta doesn't have enough strength to face that monster called Broly. Anything he tries to use is easily repelled. Vegeta was already out of options when he suddenly fell to the ground. And with eyes full of tears, he says, "Damn you! That's not possible! I am the king, a high-class warrior! My powers are unmatched!" Broly, seeing that scene, approaches and Vegeta continues to say, "I would not allow my race to be annihilated. I swore to all my subjects that I would find survivors and that we could rebuild the Saiyan Empire." At that moment, Broly starts to feel his Saiyan spirit differently. Seeing his king on the ground, something touched Broly's feelings, and Broly then says, "For as long as I can remember, I've been lost on this planet. My father, Paragus, died a long time ago, and I was left here, alone, without a family, without friends, with nothing but myself. I don't know what empire you're talking about, or what warrior race is this you're sworn to protect. I just know that something about you makes me feel like I'm not alone anymore. At that moment, Nappa and Raditz observe and manage to see that their king is Vegeta. The proudest Saiyan to ever exist loves his people. In his own way, he loved everyone. And that he was willing to swallow his own pride to defend them. And that nothing could stop him from doing anything possible to regain the glory of the Saiyans. At that moment, the two soldiers kneel in front of the king and Raditz says, "Majesty, forgive us. We will become strong, stronger than anyone. We will be the most powerful warriors in the universe. And together we will be able to rebuild the Saiyan Empire. This is our oath before the king." Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Black, who had already merged angels and gods, creating his generals. "These will be my frontline warriors and then the most powerful beings in the universe. Their gods of death possessed incredible powerful abilities. The mix of angels and gods of destruction was unimaginable. One of the newly created beings approaches and says, "The Lord made us more powerful. Our powers are incredible. Now no one will have a chance to face us." Black, with a sadistic smile, says, "This is just the beginning for them. I intend to become the ruler of the universe of all dimensions, and all of you will be part of my reign, where there will be no more mortals and all inferior races will be annihilated. And it all came down to me, the most perfect being that could exist. This will be majestic. This will be beautiful." His angels, gods of destruction, and his new general shouted long life to the ruler of all universes. Black's plan was to become the one above all that exists. And all of his servants who were incredibly powerful were ecstatic with his ambition and would help him achieve such an evil goal. Inside Bulma's ship, Goku approaches Krillin and the two start talking. Goku then asks, "What do you hear with Goku from this reality?" Krillin responds, "He died a long time ago after we faced the Saiyans who attacked the Earth. Several enemies appeared and they became incredibly powerful, but it didn't last long. He had a very serious heart disease and ended up dying. We tried to revive him with the Dragon Balls, but..." At that moment, Goku asks, "But?" And Krillin continues, "But he was no longer in the other world. He had disappeared from there and we couldn't find him. Mr. Kaio said that he had gone to another place to train, and before we could make the request for Shenrong, Mr. Kaio told us that Goku had asked us not to revive him yet, that we were supposed to wait 2 years, and when we placed the order, he still couldn't come back because he would be training in a place where we wouldn't be easy to come back." Goku is confused and says, "Wow, it looks like your Goku is more complicated than me." "But I'm sure if he says he'd come back, one day, he will come back." Goku responds, "I hope so. Gohan and his mother were alone all this time. And Gohan became an amazing warrior, but without Goku, we had a lot of problems, and we all missed you. I mean, him." Goku gets emotional and very affectionate. He hugs Krillin and says, "You're an amazing friend, Krillin. Thank you so much for not giving up on me. Or rather the Goku of this reality. He's lucky to be friends with you." Back to the Saiyans. Broly looks at everyone there and says, "I'll join you." He kneels down and at that moment becomes a great warrior again, a really powerful Saiyan. The great King Vegeta had recruited someone splendid and was closer to achieving his goal. But the king didn't know if recruiting Broly was a good idea. After all, Broly's powers were amazing. And with these doubts, they continued their trajectory. King Vegeta was amazed, as he had found a Saiyan warrior with powers greater than his. Even without wanting to invite him to be part of his army, Broly had no choice because he had no family, friends, nobody. So he accepted. Vegeta manages to gather some Saiyans race warriors, but it was not enough to have the most powerful army in the universe. Then he had a brilliant idea and he said, "A long time ago, before the collapse of planet Vegeta, I heard about a planet called Namek. There is a mysterious power there, where we can make any wish come true. If we go there and find it, with that power we can revive all the Saiyan warriors and thus rebuild our Vegeta Empire. The Nef!" Then it was decided to gather all the forces they have and go to Namek. Meanwhile in Namek, the Z warriors were impressed to see Piccolo's planet and how different everything was from what they used to. Piccolo then says, "Here we will be able to train more freely and find some warriors to join our cause." Everyone agrees, and at that moment Goku says, "Piccolo, I have an idea. While Gohan currently and the others are training, you and I can go after some inhabitants so we can solve the problem." Piccolo agrees. At that moment, in another corner of the galaxy, Black and his warriors come across a spaceship. Frieza's spaceship that Vegeta was using. Black then says, "Oh my, what have we here?" Seems like in this reality that miserable, disgusting Vegeta became the king. Inside the ship, in the main room in front of the control panel, Vegeta watched through the window and sees Black and his entire army. And so he says, "What is this?" At that moment, Black looks at the bird and gives orders to his subordinates. Kill them all. Black raises his hand and begins to create an energy sphere. Vegeta screams to his Saiyans, "He'll kill us all! Everyone get into the space pods now!" Several Saiyans enter space capsules in order to escape the attacks. Vegeta also enters one of the capsules, and everyone would go to Namek. Some of the Saiyans are caught in the attacks, but most managed to escape. However, the ship they were using was completely destroyed. Some Saiyans sacrificed themselves to save the king, and others managed to accompany them. Black, after eliminating several Saiyans, starts to laugh. "It's no use trying to escape my minions. They are too much for you, Saiyans." Black watches as the Saiyans run away. Then he says, "I will eliminate each and every one of you." In Namek, Goku and Piccolo find a village of inhabitants, where they manage to talk to the Great Patriarch and explain everything that was happening. At this moment, the Great Patriarch gives them good news, saying, "Don't worry. We have some villages nearby where some members of the Namek warrior race live. Very powerful warriors who help to face these cruel enemies. We will gather the Namek Dread Spheres to protect them. And on this planet, you will be able to train freely." Piccolo starts to smile and he thanks the Great Patriarch. At that moment, Goku feels the key of Gohan and his friends and says, "I'll go to Gohan and the others to bring them here. Then I will go after the Namek warriors to call them for help." And the Great Patriarch says, "Don't worry, Goku. I've already talked to all of them using my telepathy. And I've already told them everything. They are preparing themselves to come here. So now you just need to find your friends and bring them here too. They'll be safer here." Goku responds, "Thank you very much, sir." He puts his finger on his forehead and teleports away. Somewhere in the galaxy inside his space pod, an angry Vegeta says, "Damn, that damn thing appeared out of nowhere and destroyed the ships and several Saiyans. Who was that thing? And where did it get so much power?" Vegeta uses Scouter to contact Raditz and he says, "Get in touch with all the capsules and talk to all the surviving warriors. The plan remains the same. Let's go to Namek in search of the spheres. Then we kill that bastard." "Yes, your majesty." After that, Raditz communicates with all the Saiyans and everyone continues at full speed in direction to Namek. Black with his servants was simply roaming the space and looking around. Black then calls one of his generals and says, "I want you to find out right away where they all went." And so they go after. Black remembers something that makes him happy. And he says, thought out loud, "At least I managed to seal Zeno's father and the other gods from this reality. Otherwise I would have problems." Lucky for me, they were all gathered in Zeno's palace, so it was much easier to arrest them all at once. One of Black's Angel of Death approaches and says, "Master, I came to inform you that I located the fugitives. They are all heading to a planet called Namek, which is not so far from here." Black says, "Great, we'll go after them." His servants continue to say, "Sir, we have information that Goku was going there." Black then starts laughing. "Good, perfect. I will eliminate all this rubbish at once. Prepare all the angels and demon gods and generals. Let the war begin." Back in Namek, everyone is already gathered. Goku and his friends, the Namekians, and all the inhabitant warriors. Goku gets excited and says excitedly, "There are a lot of people here than I thought. I guess we'll have a fighting chance with that bastard." At this moment, Goku looks up and sees countless Saiyan space capsules arriving at the planet. Everyone gets scared and doesn't understand what's going on. Goku feels a familiar key and says, "That's Vegeta's key! With him together in the battle, our chances would certainly be much greater." Curling asks fearfully, "Vegeta, is that the cursed one that almost destroyed the Earth? I mean, the one that Goku of our reality managed to defeat?" And then Goku responds, "Yes, that's him. So it means that your Goku also leaves Vegeta alive." And Curling says, "Yes, Goku let him go after expelling him from Earth." Goku then speaks to everyone. "I'll go talk to him, and he will help us. That way we can win." Using his teleportation, Goku goes to this place where the Saiyans landed and finds a new dozen warriors along with Vegeta. Goku looks at Vegeta and screams from afar, "Hey, Vegeta!" The king, when listening, does not understand what is happening. He observes and says, "Who is that insolent insect?" Goku goes to Vegeta and says, "Good to see you, buddy. I'm really happy to see you're alive here too. But it looks like you're a lot weaker than I remembered." Vegeta, with his furious gaze, looks at Goku and says, "How dare you be alive, and how dare you talk like that to the great King Vegeta?" Impressed, Goku says, "Wait, are you king?" At that moment, Goku is faced with something that leaves him surprised and screams, "Raditz, you're alive!" A furious Raditz approaches, grabbing Goku by the collar and says, "Kakarot, you fool! What do you mean when you ask me if I'm alive? Are you deranged? When Vegeta and I arrived on Earth to look for you, you managed to beat us and we left. Don't you remember?" Goku responds, "Oh, yeah, got it. Okay, so, let me explain to you what's going on." After Goku explained everything that was happening and clarified that he wasn't Goku from that reality, everything started to make sense, because even if some events were similar, several things were different, so everything started to clear up. Vegeta couldn't believe everything he heard, but being a proud warrior of his race, he was happy to learn how powerful he could become. Obtaining the power of a Super Saiyan, surpassing these limits and elevating even more until reaching an almost godlike power. Even after listening to everything Goku had said, the king refuses to reunite with him. Goku then uses the following arguments. "Vegeta, if you are the Saiyan warriors, then don't join us, and you will all be exterminated. And then the great warrior race will be just another weak species, which he extinguished." At that moment, Vegeta looks around, and when he sees the look of all his people, he responds, "Alright, Kakarot, I'll join you, and all the Saiyan warriors will go to battle." At that moment, everyone who could fight had joined Goku Godkiller. Now he had an army composed of Earthlings, Saiyans, and Namekians, and so hopes were restored. The final moment of the battle is approaching. The war between good and evil is closer, and the fate was sealed.
On planet Namek, all warriors were finally gathered. The side of good had its army. Vegeta, even though he doesn't agree with Goku's ideas, he joined him, and everyone had new hope. And so they began to prepare themselves for what would come next. All Namekians who were not part of the warriors went to a safe place, which was not so far. All the warriors or people who could fight were willing to contribute. And right now, they were just waiting for the inevitable confrontation. And Gohan and Piccolo talked, trying to escape the problems. They talked about the life they once had, and on what they dreamed of being able to live. A few hours pass, and finally the fateful moment arrives. And Goku looks at the sky. He can see Black standing surrounded by an army of thousands of powerful beings. Everyone gathers to Goku's side as Black and his army land. At this moment, two armies were facing each other, and Black shouts for his warriors to listen. "Get ready! I have no mercy! Exterminate everyone, and the universe will be ours!" Goku, besides his friends, looks at Vegeta and says, "Your Majesty, I have never admitted how much I admire you. I know we have our differences, but we are both Saiyans, and I hope that now you will stand by my side, and that you give your all so that we can protect all the good people that are here." Gohan approaches and yells, "Do not give up!
Be strong, and we will not let evil prevail.
At that moment, the two armies run towards each other. Namekian Saiyans fly towards enemies, and a devastating battle ensues. The gods and angels controlled by Black are much more powerful. The gods and angels controlled by Black are much more powerful than the Namekians, more powerful than Saiyans, more powerful than human beings. However, several strategies were created so that the battle was not so unequal. Eros, the god of destruction who had turned to the side of good, had revealed a secret that would make all the difference. Hours before, Eros tells all the warriors that he was in Namek.
Gods of destructions and angels are extremely powerful, but if we want to stand a chance, we'll have to face it. So I decided to tell you something, that in the Supreme Planet, there are countless mountain mineral composite that is capable of nullifying the destructive powers of a god. And with that mineral, we could create weapons, and maybe we would stand a chance. The Supreme Planet is a world where the Supreme Kaio Lord lives. And at the beginning of everything during creation, the Great One, Hajimari Toawari, while creating the universe, he decided that to avoid a rebellion by the gods of destruction, he would create this planet with this mineral.
With this revelation, everyone went to the Supreme Planet and could create weapons like spears, arrows, swords, in a way that they would be in par with the gods. During the battle, we see several casualties in both sides. Goku charges directly at Black, and a devastating battle immediately ensues Goku. He turns into a god killer, raising his powers to the maximum in the battlefield. Everyone looks in awe at that power, and that aura was extremely unbelievable. They feel an incredibly strong heat emanating in Goku. Goku and Black are confronted with attacks that destroy mountains. Countless portals opens in the sky. The battle remains extremely incredible. Portals open in the sky with countless angels. They appear using ki blasts while the warriors who are on the ground are hit. Gohan raises his power and flies, and starts shooting keys towards the enemies. Piccolo accompanies him, while the Namekian warriors attack the gods with their spears made with purple from the Supreme Planet. They manage to weaken the enemies, but several Namekians are killed, others are erased. And the battle continues to be devastating explosions happening everywhere. We see the sky darkens and bodies of gods and mortals scattered everywhere. At that moment, we see Piccolo having his chest pierced by a god of destruction. That, in a brutal scene, hits a blast of energy, disintegrating, and Piccolo dies. Gohan, who was facing an enemy, looks back and sees Piccolo being defeated, and simply screams, "Mr. Piccolo!" At that moment, he is attacked from behind, and Goku also dies. Countless gods and mortals end up being killed during this battle. Everything becomes a massacre. Vegeta was given his all in battle, flying through all the fights while pummeling her enemies. An incredible sequence of blows. In exchange of punches and kicks, Nappa uses his brute strength to throw enemies, and Raditz for hand-to-hand combat using his weapons made with purple from the Supreme Planet to eliminate his enemies. Several Saiyans had been defeated. Vegeta was already starting to feel incredibly furious to see more of his people being cruelly annihilated. Vegeta screamed, "You damn fools! I am the great king of Vegeta, and I will annihilate them one by one!" Elevating all his power and creating a gigantic explosion. An intense glow takes over everything. In another corner of the battle, we see Krillin being defeated and falls to the ground. There have already been countless casualties on the side of the good, gradually and defeated. What can be done is amid so much devastation where only despair takes over. Everything happens quickly, and for those in the middle of the battle, it seems to take forever. Raditz is hit by attacks from all sides, and several parts of his body are destroyed, and he is pulverized by a Hakai. The battle comes close to where the people who would not fight in that battle were. Some Earthlings and other people who weren't warriors. Goku attacked Black with all his strength, and at that moment he says, "I will not allow you to go destroy everything!" Black quickly flies and hits Goku. Black's powers are on another level, but Goku can match him. Looking down, Goku sees all the destruction that the battle causes. This instant, Goku sees Vegeta being killed. Nappa and other countless Saiyans were also defeated. The battle is lost, After all the destruction had already taken care of everything, Goku had already lost all hope. At that moment, Black manages to find arrows in the middle of the battle. He was being defeated by one of the Black's generals, an angel of death. And then Black says, "Bring him to me." Black grabs Haros by the neck as he soars into the air in front of Goku, then says, "This is a traitor, and this is what happens to traitors!" and rips off the god's head, annihilating him. Goku drops to his knees and looks around and can see everyone who helped him had been defeated or was being annihilated, even those who weren't warriors. And looking to the sides, Goku finds a backpack. It was Bulma's backpack that had the Earth's Dragon Balls, and Goku takes them. He concentrates and feels the key of the Great Namek Patriarch, who as well weakened, and teleports there. When meeting the Great Patriarch, Goku says, "I found the Dragon Balls of the Earth. All have already been defeated. We can fix everything with this, can't we?" The Great Patriarch answers, "Maybe. It's not possible, but you can try. If perhaps he manages to fuse the powers of the Earth with those of Namek, yeah, he can make this whole end." Goku closes his eyes and says, "We have no other choice." The Great Patriarch then hands him the Namek spheres. Goku, with this teleportation, goes to a place farther from the battlefield. There, he puts all 14 spheres together, and saying the words which is the Great Patriarch has instructed him to say, "Great dragons, unite and deliver me from my torments, filth in the midst of this time of need, and help me achieve my desires!" All spheres unite, thus creating just one, a large sphere much larger than all the others before it. And suddenly, at that moment, another Goku appears in front of the God Killer. How surprised, he says. "Whoa, what the? But you're me!" And Goku, who just came out of the sphere, says, "I was in the dragon world. While here, everyone thought I was dead. I was there trying to find a way out." Goku God Killer sees that the other Goku already knew everything that was happening. After all, the look of sadness was stamped on his face. That Goku says, "I got to see everything that happened. And by merging the spheres, a portal between these dimensions were created. And I'm here now." Goku God Killer says, "Together, we can get everything back to normal." And Goku of the sphere says, "No, we're not going to be able to do that. You haven't realized yet, but Black has created a seal on you that will prevent you from returning to your world. And the same seal he used to imprison Zeno-sama and other mighty gods. Zeno's great father in an eternal prison. And now, that reality is also yours, and it's all over for us." Goku just closes his eyes and says, I understand." The two Gokus find themselves in an enormous sadness when suddenly they hear a voice saying, "Lords Gokus, maybe you can change everything." Goku God Killer looks around and asks, "Who's there?" And the voice answers, "I am Zarama, the dragon god who created the Super Dragon Balls. And seeing all this destruction, I sacrificed myself so that you can get some of my power. That way, you can merge and you can become a deity, the most powerful deity that ever existed. And you can fix everything." God Killer and the other Goku stare seriously at each other. And Zarama says, "You will be trapped in this reality, but you will have unimaginable powers. And you will be able to do something by becoming one. Do you accept it?" The two look at each other and answer, "Yes, yes." At that moment, Zarama sacrifices himself, and the power passed to them that in moments began to emerge, thus becoming a god. Having your skin silver and the powers virtually infinite, they became one, and so they returned to the presence of Black. Interesting. Who the hell are you? Goku replies, "I'm the cure of the disease you've become, and now I will purify everything." Goku, without thinking about anything else, raises his hand and closes it. Everything just gets erased. Goku has just erased the existence of that reality and has just single-handedly caused everything to be erased from existence. And in the midst of darkness, Goku with his impressive form just wanders through infinity. Far away, also lost in the darkness, we see Zeno-sama, his father, and some of the other gods who, because they were sealed, would be able to escape. And they wonder what just happened. Some time passes and Goku gets tired of wandering alone through the immensity of infinity. And in that moment he decides, from today on, there will be a new reality, and they will be sovereign. And Goku gets tired of wandering alone through the immensity of infinity. And at that moment he decides, from today on, there will be a new reality, and he will be sovereign. And as he opened his hands in front of them, a new reality filled with the universe begins to emerge. And everything that had just been erased and ceased to exist, now he would have another chance to renew himself. And so the story gets a fresh start.
In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just darkness. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just silence. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just darkness. Until out of darkness came light. And it was good. From the silence came the sound, and it was good. And out of nowhere, there was the beginning of an infinite without end. And it was good. And from good came evil, so that there was balance. For without the shadows there would be no light, and it was good. And so the universe was born, and thanks to that sovereign creator of everything, life was born. And with life, the story begins. And with just a breath of light, in the midst of vast darkness, a new universe, a new reality will be just born. And Goku, after losing everything he thought he could save, caused everything to be lost, and after ages, it made everything appear again. And now he was the sovereign of all. Or at least he thought he would be. In a newly created universe that did not even have a name, the supreme gods of the cosmos awakened. The eternal entities that exist and will always exist awakened from their longest slumber. Eternity, time, infinity, death, judgment, creation, reality, chaos, space. They all arise together with Zeno and his father, Hajimari Toawari, the beginning and end. These entities reappear in any universe that would just be born because they are infinite, beyond our Goku, believed to be the only existing entity of this universe. And so everything begins, an infinite cycle where he will become a sovereign entity. And in that way, he decided to create something else. In the midst of the empty space, everything restarts and life begins again. Several planets and several species, several people appear, and then the most awaited planet, Earth, appears. Goku feels instant relief. But at this moment, it was not yet time to return. Meanwhile, the old gods begin to resurface. After the natural order of all creation had been changed, much time passed, and after the pillars of creation were rebuilt, Goku continues wandering through the vastness when suddenly the ancient gods appear in front of him. Time and creation and reality. At this moment, a dialogue begins. Time tells, "You changed the time, and reality continues. You have altered reality and complete creation. You wanted to become the creator, and so we decided to punish you."
And Goku says,
"Where did you come from? After all, I deleted everything, and you could not exist."
And so time tells,
"In another reality, we were sealed, but we are eternal and will always rise again, for we always exist. When you rebuild the universe, you set us free. You rebuilt everything but the seal. You didn't know we existed, and there are many more, and that was your mistake."
Reality then says,
"And now, you will be punished."
The three ancient gods then raise their hands, and then at the same time, their eyes start to glow. And so they say,
You came from dust, and to dust you will return, and then you will rise again, and everything will be rewritten.
At this moment, Goku Beyonder looks at his hand and sees them dissolve into dust. Time then says,
We can't take away their powers, but we'll put them to sleep. And you won't be a threat to us for now because we are sovereign. But one day, we will have to stop it.
Time then tells.
History regressed.
Reality says,
Memories of whom were erased. So you don't remember the reality you built.
Creation says,
And I will recreate it for you to be reborn and one day see that we are above all.
Goku Beyonder begins to crumble, becoming a dust of energy that travels through time and its glow fades. And at this very moment he is reborn. In the midst of a universe on a distant planet, a cry is heard. Kakarot was born. Kakarot is born on a planet called Planet Vegeta, the world of Saiyans, who is attacked by an evil monster called Frieza, the Emperor of the Universe. Kakarot inside a space capsule would be sent to a small blue planet called Earth, plus his father Bardock and his mother Gimme. They bid farewell to their little boy and send him ashore. The planet Vegeta and is destroyed and becomes cosmic dusts. In Kakarot land, he is given the name of Goku. Gohan's grandson, Goku made many friends and lived many adventures. Some enemies became friends. He fought survivors from his home planet. He defeated the great evil emperor, faced many powerful androids. He fought demons, took care of his family, and his enemy children became friends, and history took its natural course, just as creation and destiny had written. But not everything would be so simple. Destiny saved something for that reality, and so the ancient gods reappear. Goku and his friends become Earth's defenders. On a certain day, a god wakes up and goes looking for a legend that the ancients were proud of. The story of a good being who got rid of evil, a being who was called God, a Super Saiyan God. But at that moment, the differences begin to appear that God was no longer the great and powerful Beerus, but yes, one of the ancient gods. More specifically, it was called Judgment. The god who judged the worlds to know if that world would live or simply disappear. This god was extremely powerful and was accompanied by an angel called Whis. At this moment, in the present time, the god thought of going after Goku, who, as always, grew stronger. After all, Goku might know something about the Super Saiyan God. However, the god knew that the one who is called Son Goku was really strong, as he knew exactly where to find him. But before going in search of Goku, he decides to meet with his brothers, the ancient gods. All the gods gathered to decide if this is the right time to stop Goku, or they would have to wait a little longer. Palace of the Gods. In the confines of the universe lost amidst of the darkness of the infinite immensity of the cosmos, a great hall is shown. In this hall, we can observe 12 thrones where the ancient sovereign gods of all universe were all gathered there. At that moment, reality speaks.
Goku grew up to be extremely powerful. What should we do about it?
Time responds.
Is this the time to stop him? After all, he is the only threat to us. If he goes beyond her again, we could have problems.
Chaos starts laughing and says, Don't say such a thing. It will never be a threat. And if he goes back to what he was, we'll just have to beat him again. Reality responds.
You really believe it would be that simple? We couldn't even get rid of him. After all, in a way, he's great creator of everything.
Space then starts to say,
Brothers, calm down. None of this is such a serious problem. We just need to let him know that we are the sovereigns of everything. And right now, he's not strong enough to stop us now.
At that time, the mood changes as Infinity adds an important point to the question when saying,
Brothers, You all know we've made his powers lie dormant, but all the powers he possesses are a portion of ourselves, the 12 ancient gods. So the probability that if we face him, he can recover everything we took from him, and remember, that would be a very high risk, don't you know?
Chaos pronounced at that moment and say, "There's only one thing we can do, brothers."
Everyone watches closely to know what Chaos plan he imagined. And he continues,
"We must send someone who can test it, and then we will know whether to act or wait. However, it has the possibility that he will be killed by whoever we sent. And so already in the book stories of the problem at once."
Creation then begins to say, "But who shall we send? Or will any of us face it?" Chaos responds,
"Don't worry, I have a plan. We can use our power to create someone. We can create an entity that has parts of our powers. That way we'll have the perfect minion."
Everyone agrees and decides to go along with the plan. And at this moment, everyone looks towards the center of the hall. A great energy begins to emanate, and everyone points to the middle of the room using their index finger. An intense glow takes care of everything, and from the middle of the night, a being appears. Possessors of all energy, the union of all gods create the one who's destined to face Goku, and decides that what his identity would be. A being of light had been created, a pure soul without wanting to know how to distinguish between evil and good. At that moment, we see the appearance of that being. A young appearance with a thin body, dark skin, and dark hair. A being of light and energy who had in his hands the fate of Goku or the fate of the ancient gods themselves. To be continued. What fate will Goku and his friends have now? What is the creation of the ancient gods? Regardless of what it is more than important that you already expose it here in the comments so that we can enter into that crazy debate. Then that's it for today. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.